Okay, so hello. Uh my name's Miguel, and basically, okay, let's start the story right now. So it's a really big shock, don't you know? You were expecting a person, and what came out is a cartoon. A cartoon which symbolizes the imagination and creativity of an individual, of an artist. Now, you guys might be wondering why I am trying to show myself in this medium. I can easily take off my headset and show my camera and show you how I look like at the present time. Well, with that I answer, I guess this story cannot be complete without this aspect of it, because this story, even I'm here because of this story, and then I am here for this story. So for the people who know me, I am told to be very cheerful, very energetic, very outgoing, and maybe a tad bit eccentric. Now, I wasn't always like this. I don't really know what changed. I was very shy, very like closed in. I never really liked to talk a lot. But something changed throughout the years, and I wasn't able to find out why until a year ago when 2020 came about. So, a year ago, I was in high school. I was a senior high school student, and you know, it was so interesting. I remember, I believe back in March, how the Friday I was sitting in class, and there was always this like constant chatter, these chatters and of this virus that we never paid much attention to at that moment. Like, we were young, we were excited. It was almost, why so many things to be excited for. We really didn't put much attention to the virus, and in hindsight, I should have said a proper goodbye to my professors and my teachers. You see, being outgoing has a lot of perks. I get to talk to people, and I get to mold myself the way I uh to best accommodate people and to be as friendly as possible. But when isolation came, I remember leaving high school that day on Friday, and I come back running to my mother, and I'm like, I want to change something about myself. I want to look different for like Monday, so that I can go back to school and everyone would be like, "Oh my God, you really you've changed something." And we decided on curling my hair. So on the Sunday of that week, I get my hair curled in a salon. There's still that little pitter patter about everything, right? And I'm thinking to myself, they're gonna be so excited to see that I have curly hair now, and I'm so happy to show everyone. And then Monday hits, and then I remember looking into my phone, and I see my email saying there's no school today. And I remember looking and saying that quarantine was in effect. Now, that's when I guess that story turns sour in a way, because I was cool at first. I was very happy. I was okay. I'm like, I needed this 1 month break because we honestly all thought it's only gonna last. After a month, it's gonna be like nothing ever happened, and we're gonna go back to school, and we're gonna have our prom, and we're gonna have our graduation, and it's gonna be great. But days turn to days, week turns to weeks, and nothing. We were in this virtual classroom with very monotistical talking teachers and professors who talk like this and were like super unenthusiastic about the job. And I remember seeing how my grades started going down. And that caused so much stress and anxiety and all this fear of being alone. I still didn't understood why I was so anxious of being alone. It only came when I went to college where I found out what was all about. So college comes, and with college came the opportunity for the software that I'm using to talk to you guys right now. And I was so excited and happy for it. But it turned into an addiction. I was so tired of being isolated that I grasped the only thing that I wanted, the only thing that I could have, and I never let it go. And it cost my grades. On top of that, I started noticing my lack of joy in the world. My depression started coming back. And for anyone who has depression, I can say, even though you can stop having depression, like you stop having that ailment, you will forever have that little tiny voice in your head, always telling you these very dark negative thoughts that don't go away. Well, that's when I noticed that's why I hated the isolation so much. I couldn't stand hearing these voices that kept telling me to do stuff that I'm not naturally proud of. Self harm, all the mental spew that a person without their usual support system have. Now, with all these bad thoughts and me trying so hard to grasp what little I had, there came resolution. I'm always so fascinated with the domino effect and the butterfly effect, because out of this thing that is on my head right now, what was perceived as bad turned into something, a symbol of resilience. You know, my roommate used to tell me that this headset is bad for you. This thing is bad for you because you've gotten too obsessed with it. And he is correct. Until one time my friend came into a call with me, and that's he was in such a bad mental state, and I told him, what's going on? And even though I wasn't in the mental state to help, I still tried to. And when he told me what was going on, I was infuriated. I was angry that something like that could happen. How can someone treat another person like that? And moreover, my friend. And that's when that fog went away, right? That's when the fog that I placed myself saying that COVID was the cause of my depression was removed. It wasn't COVID that prevented me from talking to my friends. It was me using the excuse of COVID to fuel my depression, which later turned into my isolation. And that's when that fire in me blew hotter. That desire to continue to move forward kept on pushing, because I didn't lose that because of COVID. I lost that through my own volition. I chose not to talk to my friends. I chose not to be around people a lot. And it caused a lot of things to happen. So I feel like a hypocrite at that moment, because one of the things that I always get to say, the one of the things that I say is, just like birds of a feather have to stick together, we as a community are forever. And it goes without saying that what I've experienced throughout, and what we've all experienced throughout 2020, it it was impactful. But because we as a community, I'm talking about how, with my little brother who's a hemophiliac, and I'm being able to hold onto his community and say, I would be a part of your community as a family member, as someone who cares for you. It helps during these times. And hopefully, through that, I hope to show that people going through bad times need to have people around, because as a community, we have to stick together. As a community, we are family. And it's gone me through tough times. And I hope it gets some other people out of tough times. And that's all.